And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. Let me say that one more time. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Hawkwinds Radio Picture Show. I'm your host, Jay Smooth. And tonight we got a very special show for you guys. She is a singer-songwriter from the Chicagoland area, more specifically from Pilsen. Give it up for Rosalba Valdez. Hello.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. How are you guys feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling ready for some talking.
Yeah.
Just drank some water, did my hair, put on some lipstick. Let's go.
Awesome. So I guess for the viewers at home who don't really know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, and how you got started.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Rosalba Valdez. I am a singer-songwriter from here, Chicago. I like to say Pilsen and Little Village. Those are my neighborhoods that I claim, where I was born and raised and still currently reside in. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
You in a nutshell. Sweet. So what inspired you to first pick up an instrument or I guess get interested in music in the first place?
Yeah, so actually I started playing guitar when I was like 5 years old. My dad's also a musician, so he also plays guitar, sings a little bit, writes a little bit, and yeah, when I was 5, he just handed me a guitar and one of those books.
He said, learn.
Yes, he said, learn. And
that's awesome.
I did. And I just never let it up. He took me to churches all over the city, not just churches, different places where I could learn guitar for free or at an affordable rate, like Old Town School of Folk Music. I was at Merritt School of Music. I was at St. Paul Church in Pilsen. I was at St. Pius. I was at Lincoln United Methodist Church. All these places where I could just like learn and practice, and that's how I became the musician I am today, even at school. And yeah, I'm grateful for that because it's lovely to have that tool.
That's really cool. You know, I interview a couple of people sometimes, and there will be like, yeah, you know, my parents aren't really like that supportive of like me picking up an instrument or trying to pursue music. But it seems like, you know, from a very young age, your parents are very like, you know, supportive. And can you talk to us a little bit about like growing up in like a musical household? Like, how was that? You know, a lot of kids don't get that.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm super grateful for that. And I would say it was more my dad than my mom on the musical side. My dad, I think, had this vision, because I have 3 younger sisters. He had this idea that we were all going to like grow up and be this like sister band or something like that.
Like a Cheetah Girls type
yeah.
thing.
Oh my God. I actually had a band with my sisters and some friends in elementary school because of the Cheetah Girls. And so like we would redo like their dances and stuff like that. We were called Becoming in Bloom, if anybody wants to YouTube that. We still have some videos out there. But yeah, so that didn't happen. My sisters weren't as interested in music stuff the way I was. But they did pick up some instruments like saxophone, violin, trumpet, a little bit of piano. And I think I was the only one that really took it and ran with it. But growing up in a household with my dad specifically always like encouraging me to go down this path, I would say when I was younger it was a lot of pressure. I remember it felt like, oh my God, he wants me to be like Los Horóscopos de Durango or something like that. And now I'm like, yeah, actually that would have been really cool. I took it a little different in terms of like genre and messaging and stuff like that. And I'm not even really working with my dad to that degree anymore either, where, you know, we would play gigs together. We were playing in the same grupo and like at church together. But I think it was always active. We were always doing something musical, whether it was church or community related. So, that was always something for me where I could express myself.
That's very cool. And growing up in Pilsen, how has like the Hispanic community of inspired your music and songwriting?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I myself am Latine, Mexican. And so just growing up with my culture and like in my community, I know some people grew up a little removed from that. And I definitely see it as a blessing that I was able to grow up surrounded by that, even though I know it also came with its struggles, right? Like being a daughter of immigrants and like growing up in a low income household and like there are challenges. But at the same time, I've come a long way in just like how I view the world and myself and my own experience. And I'm able to see how much of a blessing it was to have so much culture around me all the time and like be inspired by different kinds of music. So like not just the music I was playing with my dad and at church, like alabare, alabare.
The Spanish worship music.
Yeah. But also, you know, like not even just like mariachi, because I didn't start doing mariachi till I was in college, but like more like boleros, Pedro Infante, and then, you know, at the same time, all the stuff in English, you know, more mainstream pop and stuff like that. So I love that I have so much to get inspired by. I think it's really a blessing.
No, that's pretty cool. It's kind of funny you mentioned church because I interview a lot of musicians and they'll say the same thing, that they started off playing in like churches and stuff, and it'll be like, yeah, you know, I started off in church, and it's like there'll be like a heavy metal like guitarist or something.
That's so
it's
funny.
Like, well, that's kind of funny, but like I guess, yeah, you know, find wherever you can start off and, you know, grow from there. Can you, so you grew up playing in churches, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I remember when I was younger, on any given Sunday, I would go sometimes even to like 3 different churches.
Nice.
Because I was like part of the church band or choir at these different churches. And again, it was a way for me to like continue practicing. And at the same time, also, I found community in some of these churches, which is why I think I really stayed at one specific church. But it was really, yeah, I think every human being craves that sense of community and place where they kind of like fit in, and also that like routine. And so for me, like having that every Sunday for a really long time, almost like my entire life, almost the majority of my life, that I think learned a lot in that process.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself religious?
Probably not religious, but I do say spiritual.
Okay,
So
that makes sense.
I definitely feel like there is a higher being. I believe in energy, and I'm very spiritual, and I'm very conscious of like the things that I say, the energy that I try to put out. I know it's not always pleasant, but I try to make sure that it usually is pleasant and high vibrational. So
I get that.
without sounding too like, you know, wooey or whatever.
I feel that. Yeah, no, I used to hate going to church. My parents used to like force me. I used to go to like Sunday school and stuff like that to get all like the fucking religious I grew up in like a Catholic household, so they were like, yeah, you got to go to church, and I always dreaded it.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. Like one day I just picked up an instrument and I realized I could play in the choir. I was like, oh hell yeah, this is awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
So how would you describe your sound currently? And what influences do you have for your sound currently?
Yeah, for sure. I categorize my music now as Latino alternative.
Nice.
I say that because it's kind of like a big umbrella for the different genres and styles that I play and write in. I also say it's bilingual, so bilingual, Latino, alternative, and I would say it's very much influenced by my biculturalness, my being Mexican American, by my lived experience as somebody who grew up with a lot of anxiety and also rage, with the state of the world, with things and hardships like that my family faced personally and myself. And so I think I was a very angry teenager, and I had to work really hard to like not be so angry. And I think it was really only a few years ago where I really was like, actually, I'm kind of like liking my life now. But yeah, I would say my music is influenced by all of those feelings and emotions you experience as a human being, and just so many different styles that I grew up playing and getting inspired by. Very inspired by African and indigenous rhythms, so very danceable, especially my new music that is going to be released in the near future.
Hey. Do you have any release dates for that yet?
Not going to announce the exact dates yet, but I will say
close,
my music, my new album is getting mastered this Friday, so
Ooh,
that is like really,
exciting.
really soon, and I do plan on releasing all of it this like summer up until next year.
So you mentioned growing up, you were kind of like a little anxious, a little angry at, I'm gonna assume, the world.
Yes.
For what was going on. What are some of the ways that you coped with those feelings as a I guess teenager, or
Yeah. So I think right now most people are feeling what I remember feeling myself like 10 years ago, or even a little longer. So I grew up like I said, going to different churches, and in that process found this one church called Lincoln United Methodist Church that also had an immigrant rights organization working out of it. The pastors were activists and very vocal about immigrant rights, and always working on defending cases that had to do with like deportation, and connecting people from the congregation with attorneys, lawyers, and things like that, just like supporting those cases.
Gotcha.
And so everything that's going on even right now with ICE, like that's been happening for a long time. I think right now it's just very much what's been happening in your face. It's gone to a different degree, but a lot of us who already had seen how inhumane the immigration system is, were already feeling all of this rage and sadness and despair and disappointment in our system, in our country. And so I've been feeling that since, I was a kid, since I was a teenager, because I found myself at this church that I feel is my church, right? I really appreciated what they did there with actually helping people and stuff like that. And so for me, my way to cope, I found, was really to express myself through music. And so, for example, like my first project that I released and that I was like, this is how I'm going to put myself out into the world. I'm Rosalba Valdez. My project, my EP is Yo Soy Mexicana. And that came out of this need to own that like Mexicanness, my brownness, my indigeneity, that I knew a lot of people in my community were being targeted for. And so I wrote a song called Yo Soy Mexicana when current dude, orange guy, first got elected.
The cheese ball.
Yeah, that cheese ball guy. When he first got elected, I was in high school. And then, of course, I was feeling all the feelings. And I wrote a song called Yo Soy Mexicana just to make a statement for myself. Like, nah, they were calling us criminals, rapists, all these things. I was like, no, I'm Mexican and I'm proud of it because because we're hard workers, because we've survived through so much, we're resilient, all the things. So that was like my first, I think, song where I really was like, no, it wasn't my first actually. I had already started writing stuff when I was younger too that was related to like politics and things like that. But that's how I would say like I cope. I coped with my rage and my anxiety with the world through music.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, a lot of people have different ways of coping, and I feel like that's one of the most purest ways to get like your thoughts out there is through music. Even if it's not like writing a full song, you know, just writing a little melody or something.
Yeah,
changes your brain
absolutely.
waves or whatever. You make it a point to represent the Hispanic Mexican community. I've come across a lot of people that were also sons of immigrants, but are not. They choose not to represent their own culture and stuff like that. What do you have to say about people like that? Like, do you think they're just scared to represent their culture because of like this stuff that's going on right now? You know, we're being targeted in a certain way, or is it something else?
I don't necessarily judge or try to judge what other people are doing with their music, or whether they really want to take ownership of certain parts of their identity or not. Like, maybe they don't want that to be part of their identity. Like, oh, I don't want to just be known for being Latino or be the token brown person or whatever, right? Like, I don't want to just be stereotyped because of that. And I think that is very valid to feel that way. I think a lot of us feel like even for myself, not just as a Mexicana, like as a woman, like I don't want people to think I'm like a certain thing or like certain stereotype or play into that. But with everything that is going on, I would encourage people to look inwards and just I think it's a, what's the word? I'm not sure what the word is, but I think there's room for both. I think there's room for recognizing certain things about our identity and finding just like similarities in just like the human experience across the board. And, you know, whether you're Latino, Mexican, or whatever, like our communities, we're not a monolith either, right? Like we still have differences within that.
Right.
But I understand where the insecurities come from when you don't want to be like stereotyped into one thing. Like, oh, well, I'm Mexican, but I can play hardcore, you know, not just mariachi music, and stereotyped into that. Like that still happens with me. People think I'm a mariachi singer, and I'm like, bruh, no, I'm not. But I get it.
And how do you deal when you get stereotyped in that way?
You know, I actually try not to get offended anymore because I'm like, this just means there's a gap. There's a gap in education with the person that is doing this, that is making this assumption about me, my personhood, because they associate me, a brown person, with being Mexican, with playing mariachi. Okay, that's in all the movies. That's in Hollywood. That's everywhere, right? Like, I get it. But I'm not going to stay in that just like anger anymore. I need to do something about it for myself. And so for me, it's like educating people. It's, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. And being the representation I need for myself, whatever that means. And just like, well, I make this music. So
yeah. It's like, I'm Hispanic, but you know, I don't necessarily just do this one thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So I when I was researching you, I was looking at your Spotify and I came across a song called La Llorona, which I kind of liked. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? What was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, I actually released a project in 2024, November 2024, for Day of the Dead, called Amor Eterno. So it's a 5-song EP with an original song called Maldigo la Muerte that I wrote, and also a few other classic covers that I grew up singing for Day of the Dead, which is a Mexican holiday. It's not Halloween. It's a holiday where we celebrate and honor those that have passed and are now our ancestors, or yeah. So that song, La Llorona, I grew up singing at Day of the Dead events when I was a kid with my dad,
Nice.
as we were talking about
awesome.
earlier. And I just wanted to put my own version out there. And yeah, that's why it's out there right now for y'all to listen to.
Check it out. And so then with Mother's Day that recently just passed by, I saw another song kind of stood out called Mama. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Mama is actually a song I put out in 2024 as well. And I wrote it in 2023, like the same week as Mother's Day. I had just gone to a Mother's Day event with my mom and my niece.
Nice.
And I just remember there was a lot of stuff that my family was going through. And that song just like poured out of me in like half an hour, maybe less. But the entire time I was writing it, I was like crying, bawling.
Yeah.
I couldn't contain myself. I was very emotional. The lyrics say, Mamá, ya no llores, te perdono. Me cuidaste cuando nadie te cuidaba. Me abrazaste aunque nadie te abrazaba. Me amaste aunque nadie te amaba. And this just came from seeing my mom do so much for me and my sisters. And at the same time, like, with everything that she did, like, sometimes there were still gaps, you know, even just like emotionally. Right. A lot of Latinos, I think, deal with like emotionally unavailable parents, and that's a huge thing that
it's
kids
need
for development, it's like to be healthy adults.
Exactly,
so
that's why that's why I am the way that I am now.
Yeah, same. That's why I like seek validation on the internet, I guess.
Like my music, shit, guys.
Man. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't care what y'all think. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yes, I do. No, I don't actually.
But it's funny you mentioned that because, like you said, a lot of Latino Hispanic kids don't grow up with that emotional education that you know the parents are supposed to teach you or whatever. And then therapy, the talk of therapy comes into play sometimes. And I do encourage, I encourage people to, even if you don't think you need it, try to seek it. But I know it's very expensive. Like sometimes, what are some ways that you think, people like us can help the mental health crisis, I guess, because it is a crisis. Like there's a lot of people that do need mental health that don't have it readily available. Absolutely. Specifically in like the Hispanic Latino community.
Yeah,
like what would you say to encourage somebody to like seek out like maybe therapy or even like talk to a friend, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I would suggest, well, yes, seek therapy, and if you can afford it, if you have health insurance, which I know those are privileges for many, then do it, try it out. I think it's beneficial for everyone. I go every week, and I've been going since like 2020 for like 5 years straight. So I think that's worked. I don't know. But if you don't have access to therapy, I definitely recommend looking for like groups, like community groups where people also kind of get to therapize themselves or each other, like through like book clubs where you talk about like identity or things like that, or maybe it's a different kind of circle, like an artist circle or something, that are more like just building community. I also recommend self-help books. I know it might sound like cheesy, but I listen to audiobooks that that help me reframe my mindset, and listen to stuff on YouTube, podcasts. I also I'm always like reading different books. Like right now I'm reading a book that's called How to Not I don't even The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Oh.
And I'm really enjoying that. But I also, a more PG version is The Courage to Be Disliked. And it takes courage to be disliked and kind of like really take ownership of your life and like push yourself to grow as a person. So that's another avenue. And then aside from that, if you know there are people in your life that could use therapy, or like I think sometimes what we need ourselves, we can also offer.
Mm-hmm.
And so like sometimes we need to be that person to somebody else too, like to our friends, to our sisters, to our brothers, our family members, like, and hold space for like those vulnerable conversations. And maybe we wouldn't need therapy if we did that. So, you know, if your parents didn't do it for you, maybe you can do it for somebody else. It doesn't have to be your parents or a family member, but
you gotta break the cycle, guys.
Yeah, make the world a better place by holding space for somebody else today.
Yeah. Speaking of making the world a better place, you performed at a Selena tribute show in Millennium Park in 2023.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about that? How did you get on that show, and what were you feeling when you were performing?
Yeah, that was a really awesome experience. My band performed in front of like 7,000 people on like the second hottest day of the year in Chicago that year.
Damn.
And people still came out because they love Selena. So
icon.
Yeah, and we got that opportunity through the National Museum of Mexican Art, which we are super grateful for. They love to uplift and celebrate local artists and local artists in the Mexican and Latina community. And yeah, that's how that came about. It was a great experience that kind of made me feel like, I can do this, and I can do this to another level.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I hold that in my heart.
7,000 people. That's a lot of people. How do you prepare for a show like that? Like, what was the week of the show, and then up to like the 5 minutes before getting on stage? How do you prepare for something like that?
Man, if you're an artist, make sure you like have all your music memorized. I think that's like one of the best things. Like, preparation is everything for shows.
5 Ps.
Yeah, like that. And also, like, if you're playing with a band, which I was that day, also practicing with the band, like that. If you feel confident in your band members, like, it makes everything so much more enjoyable. And then aside from that, like, for any artists out there listening, like, your presentation too, like, can make you feel more confident in your stage presence and everything. But like, even practicing like your dance moves, like, and certain like things that you're gonna do like on stage, all of that matters for a show. And so being prepared, not rushing, although sometimes some things will still feel a little rushed, it makes a huge difference.
How do you how do you prepare to get on stage? Like, do you have a pre-show ritual? Because somebody once said that they drink Pepto-Bismol before going on stage because of the crappy bar food they're gonna eat.
Man, I would not do Pepto-Bismol or eat the crappy bar food before. I would eat it after. So any pre-show ritual? Not really. I try to just make sure I have energy. Now I know, like, and this also has taken me years of experience, like before a show, trying not to like drink coffee right beforehand, or if I do, it's like earlier in the day to like give me energy. And if I'm eating like before the show, it's like at least an hour or 2 hours before. But I try to make sure it's like protein and some carbs. Like, I'm very conscious of that now because I know how it affects my energy while I'm performing. But in the past, like, oh man, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I would be like doing a show with barely any energy because I like overate or underate. Literally, you can go either way, and now I know.
Too many shots beforehand.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I try not to drink anymore either. Even like the night before, I remember the night before like a big festival when I was younger, I like had like 2 drinks, which isn't a lot, but to me, I'm like 5 feet. Yes, it is.
Oh shit.
And I'm also like trying not to do that anymore for myself, for my voice, and just to sound good and like
That's cool, yeah.
perform well. Yeah.
That's some good advice. Now, what about like, when you're on stage, you get all this adrenaline going in your system and you're just like, happy for the next however hours. How do you decompress from that?
Oof, that's a good one. I feel in the past it would be really hard to decompress, and I would like stay up till like 3-4 in the morning after a show.
Like, I'm a rock star.
Oh my goodness, the adrenaline. Then at a certain point, I kind of just like after a show, if I'm hanging out or something, I also try to like, if I'm partaking in any activities or alcohol or whatever, right? Like I try to limit it. Like it's not always a party afterwards anymore. Now I feel it more as like it's like show and like business. Like now we're working on the content, the marketing, like the photos, the video that we took. But I'm not like, oh yeah, let's go hang. Like we did it. Like actually, no, there's still work to do. So that's where I'm at now, where that I think helps me decompress. Like, okay, I shared this, now I can like go watch a movie and something like that.
That's
Eat
cool.
some pizza. I do celebrate with food afterwards.
Okay.
So, I love that.
So that's your decompression?
Yeah.
A good bite to eat?
Yes, a good bite to eat.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people, I feel like what you mentioned earlier about not taking your shows as like parties and more like work, I feel like that's kind of what like separates like a good artist, I guess, from somebody, a good artist from a great artist, I guess I'll put it that way.
That's good.
What's another thing that you think separates a good artist from a great artist?
That's an interesting question that I have to think about. But I would say not worrying so much about like metrics, like numbers or like likes online, views, streams. I think that, shows you something about like who's listening and who's like taking in the message. But I would say prioritizing your art and what you want to say to the world, right? Like, and honoring your inner child. I think that's what makes a great artist versus a good artist, when you're trying to just be palatable to everyone or have everyone like your music or art. Like, not everyone's going to like it. You have to do what really makes you feel good and alive, and and stay true to that.
Oh, yeah.
Honor that.
No, I like the way you said that. Kind of like you said, stay honorable to your inner child. I think like that's a good way to describe it, because at the end of the day, like, you're performing in front of 7,000 people. That's kind of what a younger you would have been dreaming of, and you finally did it. You also sang the national anthem at Soldier Field, and that was a little bit more recent, correct?
Yeah, that was
what was that
a month
like?
ago. That was really cool. That was a really fun experience for me. I think it was really fun because I had a great team of people. I had my friends, Daniel, Lorenzo, Giovanni, and they were just like really hyping me up. They were my team that day, like taking video, helping me even book the thing, right? Nice. And like responding to the emails. And so that I think is also really important, like knowing who to surround yourself with, like again, for anybody listening, not just in music or with your art, but in your business, at work, in your life in general. Like surround yourself with people who hype you up. But that was a really fun experience, just because I don't want to say it was easy, but like I've been singing the national anthem my entire life because we were like indoctrinated with it
every day in school.
Every day in school you had to be like, oh, say. And so that was really fun.
What I mean, you get hit up to do the national anthem at like the Soldier Field, coming from like a Hispanic Latino immigrant background. Like that must feel like very a little empowering, right? Like I'm singing this country's national anthem, and my parents are Mexican, and I'm raised. Was that like, I mean, were you excited about that at all? Yeah,
for sure. I actually released a video talking about my feelings about it. I was a little conflicted at first because of everything that's going on with ICE and our Latino community being attacked for not being American enough. And so then for me to sing this national anthem, I took the opportunity, but I also took it recognizing like, hey, if I'm going to sing this, talking about like being American myself, because I am Mexican American. It's a very unique identity. Like, what am I doing about it too, right? Like, and I think that's for anybody that chooses to recognize like, hey, some of us have certain privileges and we live in the belly of the beast. We live in the United States of America, and that means we have a responsibility to this country. And by this country, I mean the people, and that means our community. That means everyone around us, because this country causes so much harm to people across the world. And so because we live within it, we have power to make things better for the entire world, because we can change things from within. And so for me, that singing that really was an affirmation for myself about my own responsibility, and hopefully it encourages, inspires other people to also take responsibility for our conditions and see how we can make things better for our neighbors.
There's a lot of Latinos, Hispanics coming from immigrant parents that are conflicted because Americans are saying they're, like what you said earlier, they're not American enough, and then their own people are saying you're not Hispanic enough, you're not Latino enough. Has that ever been an issue with you, and how did you deal with that?
Absolutely, yeah. My entire life, I think a lot of us who speak Spanish also have heard the saying, ni de aquí, ni de allá. One day I changed that for myself, and I was like, no, tan de aquí como de allá. Like,
there you go.
I'm very much Mexican because of my heritage, and I have the privilege of traveling to Mexico, seeing my family out there. But also, I am also American. Like, I grew up here in Chicago, and I love to say I'm also like Chicagoan, like my shirt says, by Pa Nosotros, Por Nosotros.
Hell yeah.
Clothing. And yeah, like I definitely struggled with that growing up, and like didn't know where I fit in with like my music, with my art, just my being. Now I know, like, no, again, like the reframing in my own brain, like I'm Mexican American. This is a unique identity, and I have this privilege of being able to, be in both communities. Like, I can speak Spanish and I can speak English, and even if you don't speak Spanish, like you can still relate to this community in a way that other people can't, and I can also relate to this community. So, just a reframe of mind for myself.
And that's pretty cool. What you just said, that you can speak Spanish and English, because a lot of people, a lot of Hispanic Latinos can speak English and Spanish, but all the other people don't realize that knowing two languages, like most, I know a lot of Americans that only know English. You know what I mean? Like they don't even know like their ancestors' like language, like Polish or German or whatever. But like I feel like we do have a little bit of that privilege of knowing both languages.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I guess let's talk about music a little bit more. What are some like artists that you want to maybe open up for in the future?
Ooh, this is a good question. I've gotten this before. I would love to do a bill with Monsieur Periné. They're a Colombian duo. They sometimes play with a band as well, and they're really, really cool. I've been inspired by them. Mon Laferte, Natalia Lafourcade, Silvana Estrada, these very specific artists from Latin America. And aside from them, I wonder who else. I'm trying to... This is my dream. Bad Bunny.
Oh, of course. I feel like that's a lot of people's dreams.
A lot of people's dreams, and I'm gonna put it out there because why not? Hey man, if you come to Chicago, you need somebody to represent. From Little Village, Pilsen, a real one. Like,
you
come on,
manifest it. Put it out in the world.
And I will say, like, his last album, that he released last year in January, when things were kind of just popping off and everything felt really heavy in the world, with the political climate. His album really helped lift me out of that, with like all of the rhythms, all the indigenous African congas, all that rhythmic stuff. Like, my music is also very percussion heavy like that. And because he did that, I was already working on my album, and that like affirmed for me, like, oh, this is I'm doing something good too. Like, if people can like his album, they'll like my album too. Because I really hadn't heard any modern mainstream artists do like the music that I'm about to release.
Right.
And then he did it, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yes.
And it just like lifted my spirits, and not just mine, even other people in the immigrant community that I've talked to even recently, like older folks that would never think about like Bad Bunny, listening to Bad Bunny. And they were like, yeah, his album was like so incredible and like got me through these hard times. And I was like, me too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bad Bunny is like
Hell
an
yeah.
inspo for sure.
No, I like the answer. Did you watch the Benito Bowl?
Oh my God, yes. And we actually did a watch party at more of a halftime show watch party at Book Club Chicago. This
Hell
really
yeah.
cool venue.
Shout out Book Club.
Yeah, they support artists in the city and like outside, and I like what they're doing. But we had a really cool watch party there.
Oh yeah.
And yeah.
No, I like Book Club. Like 80% of the artists I've interviewed, they've all performed at Book Club.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
I've been to a handful of shows there since they opened.
Awesome.
I think like a year ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but
Yeah, they're fairly new,
but they're doing something.
yeah, no,
Something
that's
dope.
cool. Yeah. So, do you have any upcoming shows that you're performing at?
Yes, actually, this Friday at the Lincoln Park Room, I'm performing a set with my band, Los Valientes.
Hey, shout out.
So it'll be Rosalba, Valdez, y Los Valientes. And we're on a lineup with a bunch of other really cool artists, Cielito Lindo, mariachi band,
Hey.
but also...
We actually had him on here
really?
a couple months ago. Yeah, they did a
Nice.
little guitar thing too. Yeah.
That's so cool. They actually, I think, also just played at Soldier Field,
Oh,
the
hell
national
yeah.
anthem
Oh,
for
hell
Chicago
yeah.
Fire game, like
Dude,
2 days ago or something like that.
small world, man.
Yeah. So they're going to be there on Friday too, Friday, May 15th. Then we have really cool, awesome femme artists who are the lead singers in their own bands, like Sylvia Paez and Lucia Jane and Anna Wicki. And I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh no, that's actually everyone, I think.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like, these performers are so good, and I'm so excited to see them this Friday and be on the same lineup. And also, it's a fundraiser event for a short film that I'm playing in. It's based around myself as an artist.
That's cool.
So it's not exactly a documentary because it's not exactly like my life, but it is very similar.
Cool.
So it's a fundraiser for that, and a lot of people are donating their time, and we're also asking for donations as a way to get in. That's your ticket. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and you get to hang out with the crew for the film and ask us whatever questions you may have.
No, that's pretty cool. Can we talk about that movie for a little bit?
Yeah.
You said it was a movie inspired by your musical career.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Yeah, so it actually is the brainchild of Lorenzo Leiva. He actually was the one that invited me to be part of this film as the lead actress in last year. He got a grant from the city of Chicago through DCASE to support the creation of the film. And we're also working with Real Innovative Artists Productions and Dome Studios to put on the film. So Lorenzo is like a really skilled cinematographer, editor, all that stuff. And we're going to have a big crew working on the film, and also other local artists from Chicago, musicians who are going to be part of the film alongside with me. So it's going to be really cool. It's called I Just Need a Moment to Breathe.
I Just Need a Moment to Breathe. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever done any like acting before, or is this like your first thing?
I actually was in like 3 commercials when
Shit.
I was like
We got
10.
Hollywood in here.
I was like 10 years old, and you know, my dad used to take me to acting classes. I think one day
Do you
he
remember
just
the
like
commercials?
they were like on Univision. One I think was like for Magnum Insurance or something like that. I was like the daughter or something like that. I'm not 100% sure about that. So sorry if it wasn't Magnum. Then something was like for Univision, and then another one was like holding auditions for a contest also, I think, on Univision. So Yeah, it was like that.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like all well-rounded, like artist,
Yeah.
actor,
I mean,
singer, songwriter.
a lot of what I do I would consider acting, but I'm excited for this film to kind of challenge me a little bit.
Yeah. And what has the experience on that film been like so far?
It's been such a pleasure, like just working with a team of really passionate creatives, like not just Lorenzo, but like Cameron and Ayu from Ria Productions, and everyone's just so passionate and talented and putting in so much work just for the fundraising portion of it. Our fundraiser ends May 20th. We're trying to hit 25K, and
Nice.
if we don't get, I think, the full amount, apparently like we don't get the money from the website or something, so please go donate. See, there's a campaign page on my link in bio, on my profile on Instagram, but I think we're a little over halfway there. Friday hopefully will take us further ahead, and then we have like a week or less.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to be the star of my own own movie.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe you are the star of your own movie, man.
I'm the star of my own show.
You are. Your life is a movie.
That's true. Life is a movie. It ends when it ends.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You also submitted a video for a Tiny Desk contest.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I watched it on YouTube a couple minutes ago.
Nice.
Cool. What how was that like?
Assuming you're talking about the She's Living in Sanctuary submission, we've been submitting for the Tiny Desk contest for the past probably 3-4 years, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I think 4. This is our 4th time.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, I do it more so for the exposure to the people who might be watching, like from NPR,
Right.
and also just like to continue putting out my own songs that maybe I've already released, but in a different format, with my band live. So for example, last year and the year before that, we performed unreleased songs of mine that are now going to be part of the album, and I'm now going to release this summer.
Hell yeah.
So people got to see those in the Tiny Desk format, and now they'll get to hear them professionally recorded, mixed, and mastered.
Cool.
So yeah, I love to make those submissions.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool, and I completely understand, like, even if you don't get chosen to do the Tiny Desk, you'll still get that exposure from people in the audience watching or anybody. That's pretty cool. What kind of energy can we expect at one of your shows, like for the crowd at least?
I would say, and it depends, right? Because I've done things that are a little more intimate and acoustic, so it's like me just with my guitar or with like another musician or two musicians. But when it's like a festival show, people can expect high energy, to dance. I like to get people dancing and like singing along, especially like the cumbias or like if we're doing any covers like a Selena song or two. We love to see people dancing. And I've realized like many times the older folks are the ones that are like less shy and will actually like be dancing with us. And I'm like, this is really nice. I love this. And then it's also like the really younger folks, like the little kids, the toddlers. So it's like there's a little bit of a gap. We want to get the folks in the middle also out there and break out of their shell a little bit. So.
Oh yeah. No, I very much enjoy high energy shows. Do you have a preference between like high energy or like maybe like the more like intimate like shows?
I really like both. I feel like they both serve their purposes. I think right now, because people are not as aware of my original music, especially the unreleased stuff, people are able to take it in and process it better in the intimate settings, because I'm able to talk about the songs and how they came about, and a little bit about the album and the process of creating it. And I think people can appreciate it in that intimate setting more, versus the festivals where the lyrics kind of get lost. People are like doing
It's
the thing.
more about the motion.
It's more about the motion and the rhythm. But both serve their purpose. And I think, one day when when my new album is out and fully released and people learn all the lyrics, they're going to be singing them at the bigger shows too.
Hell yeah.
So
That's the dream.
yeah, absolutely.
to have everybody chanting your lyrics. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about like the way you release music. So like you've been doing this for a while, and the way people release music generally before is different than the way people release music now, with like social media and like TikTok and stuff. Now people are writing like 2-minute songs, and that's like the cap. Does that have any influence on how you write? Do you write for like TikTok, or is it like I don't care, I just however long it is it just what it is?
Actually, yeah, no, I just do whatever comes out, whatever flows. What I write really usually has to do with something that I'm feeling myself. I'm not necessarily writing for TikTok or whatever, although some songs do tend to come out shorter, and then others are kind of more your standard 3 to 4 minute song. But it just really depends. It's more so about like what I'm feeling. And like I have songs right now that are like mariachi, and then I have also like more ska, punk. And then I also have like, just all over the place. It's all over the place.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, speaking of like online stuff, what do you feel about AI and music? So like a lot of musicians are now like leaning on AI a lot to like write their music for them. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like it, but at the same time, it's kind of scary because like anybody who doesn't know music can go up to like an AI program something, and now it's a hit song. Like, what's your opinion about that?
I think it's really scary. I feel like I'm not super knowledgeable about all of the harm that is being created by AI, but I know that it is harmful, not just for artists, but also humans in general in other ways, from data centers that are like
they're taking all our drinking water.
Yeah, taking our drinking water and creating climate change and catastrophe wherever they're located. But in other ways, right, like I think it's really messed up that artists, the majority of artists, I'm not talking about artists like mainstream pop artists like, Sabrina Carpenter or anybody that you see out there like that. I'm talking about everyone else. We are still not valuing our art. We are still not valuing what comes out of the local scene. And it's like we talk about supporting our local communities and businesses and the people, but that also includes the local artists and the musicians. And for us to think that like AI is going to produce something that really resonates, no, AI is stealing from everybody else that actually has original thoughts. And they say nothing's truly original or new, right, under the sun. And I agree, like everything is recycled in many ways, but I think there's a lot of harm that's happening with AI, and I feel like there's probably more that I could talk about on the topic in the future once I do some more digging, but it's scary. Even for like, I just think legislation and regulation is not advancing fast enough, and it might not even advance fast enough for everything that AI is doing and stealing. And well, it's scary.
It's crazy because now like artists are registering their voice online because AI is stealing all that stuff.
Exactly.
And like, for example, let's say I make I prompt a song with like fucking Jennifer Lopez's like voice. She's not gonna see a penny from that, which in that case it's not really a big deal, but like for local artists, like people like you, that's a big deal, because if somebody steals your voice, makes a hit song, you won't see a single penny from that.
I agree. Even like my likeness, right? Like
exactly.
I just heard or saw something about Taylor Swift trademarking her voice.
Yep.
And so that made me dig a little further myself, and saw that other artists had done that as well.
Yep.
And it's something that somebody had kind of just like brought up with me as well, like trademarking my likeness, my image, my name, and now my voice, which is crazy to think about, but it's something that actually gives me anxiety. Like, I'm not going to lie, last week I was having some anxiety about this, especially with like my new album, and all the trademarking stuff, and like not being super well versed in that. But I know that I have to get my things together in
Yeah.
terms of all of that, because it is scary.
It's crazy the amount of like paperwork that goes into releasing a song that nobody really talks about, especially at like a local level, because you don't want people to like steal your things. And then like, all the big famous musicians, they have other people to like do all that stuff for them, but like as a local musician, you kind of have to like do it all yourself. You know what I mean? Especially nowadays. Before, you didn't really have to worry too much about social media and stuff. Now it's like you have to be an 50% content creator, 50% musician.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So I'm actually also like shifting that for myself now, where it's not even just like 50% content creator, 50% musician. It's like what I keep hearing from professionals in the music industry who are mentors and like have way more years in this than I do, is like it's actually like 50% business, and the 50% is like everything else. It's like the music, it's everything else. And I'm in that process right now where I'm trying to just like reframe my lifestyle and the way I go about like my negotiations and like my shows, my bookings, to make sure that the business side of it is all in order. Because if not, my music and my current lifestyle is not sustainable.
Right.
If that is not in order, I'm not going to be able to be a full-time artist for the rest of my life if that's not all secured,
all taken care of.
No,
that's definitely something important that like local musicians should definitely look into, registering all their songs, registering everything to get them paid. You know what I mean? It's important.
Absolutely. And I wish there were like more resources out there. I know some people have like labels and stuff like that do that for them, but right now most of us are independent, and if anybody's trying to like start a business with that, or they're like supporting artists, like let me know, like, and I'll help you support your I'll support your business, like help promote it or something, because our community needs it.
Gotta stick together. Oh yeah. So we're coming kind of close to the end of our interview here. I know you wanted to play a couple songs today. So can you talk to us a little bit about the songs that you're gonna play, and then we can set up your setup?
So I'm gonna play 2 songs for everyone. These are unreleased songs. These are actually songs that I already played for the public through the Tiny Desk submission. So No Te Sorprendas and Home is Burning. Home is Burning I wrote in 2023, inspired by the smoke from the Canada wildfires that came all the way down here to Chicago. I remember it was like super cloudy, orangey, but like I myself could barely breathe, and I don't even have asthma.
Right.
So I can only imagine what somebody else with like a respiratory illness was going through. And also as a singer, that was frustrating. I'm like, I can't even sing properly.
You need your lungs.
I need my lungs. And so that song came out of that frustration and concern for the world. It poses the question, is it even possible to have a better, healthier world?
Oh, shit, man. If Canada's burning.
Oh, my goodness. But it also answers that question. And you'll get to hear the lyrics. No Te Sorprendas was also something that came out that I wrote that same year. I think like the same month. And I wrote it because I saw somebody being arrested in front of my house. It was this man, and I believe he was with his daughter, and his daughter was crying, and they were arresting him, and all I thought about was just how traumatic that experience was going to be for that young girl. Yeah. For that little girl, just like watching her dad get arrested. Why he was getting arrested, I have no idea. I just knew, I just know that they were brown people in my community of Little Village, and I was on their side.
Yeah.
And I don't even know. Maybe he did something wrong, but
Oh.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because the system already does not give us the benefit of the
I was gonna
doubt.
say most of the time we don't get that chance.
We don't get that chance. We're guilty until proven innocent when actually it should be the opposite, right? Or at least that's what they claim. And so I just, that's where that song came out of. And yeah, I'm going to play them. And they're also on the upcoming album.
Hell
So
yeah.
they'll be released this summer.
Oh yeah, so let's get you guys situated.
Yay.
Want to strap on?
Yeah. Thank you. Just going to tune real quick. We're going to start off with Home is Burning.
Home is
Do you
burning.
need to scoot over a little bit?
I think I do, yes. How's that?
That looks good.
Awesome. Thank you. I think this needs to be closer.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Ooh. And we're bringing on Giovanni Ravel on the cajon, everybody. Give it up.
Whoop. Give it up.
Claps, claps. Here goes Home is Burning. Or you let me know, actually.
Oh yeah, good to go. Yeah.
How a land or home is burning. Hear the birds cry out in warning. They're so thick my lungs are hurting. Is it too late to start working towards a healthy future? I know one day I'll be long gone, but something inside me so long It is possible.
Oh, hell yeah, guys. That was awesome.
Gracias. This next one is called No Te Sorprendas. Don't be surprised. 1, 2. ¿Cómo quiere que no sienta resentimiento? Hay gente que solamente daño ha hecho. Estoy cansada de todo el sufrimiento. Algo pronto va a cambiar, yo lo siento adentro. No te sorprendas cuando pararé de aguantar todo lo mal. El desbalance de hoy en día, nada de esto es natural. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. You told me what I should, what I could, what you would have done. Let me tell you what it is, there's no way to run. I hope you wake your mind, see the world through my eyes. It's a way to be surprised, you get blinded by the lights. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas cuando paren de aguantar todo lo mal. El desbalance de hoy en día, nada de esto es natural. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te sorprendas. No te sorprendas, no te sorprendas, no te No te sorprendas.
Woo!
Gracias.
Shit, that was awesome.
Thank you so
I
much.
really enjoyed that last one. Made me want to get up and dance.
Thank you.
So, real quick, you want to grab that microphone and just introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, what's going on, everyone? My name is Giovanni Ravel.
It's kind of in your face. There
How's
you
that?
go. There, that's better.
Cool, yeah. My name is Giovanni Ravel. I'm also a musician here from Chicago and happy to support Rosie on Q4 Radio. And yeah, just be here playing the cajon, playing the rhythm, holding it down. And appreciate the opportunity to just get Rosie's music out to a wider audience because I think
Hell
it's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and also listen to his album, self-titled Giovanni Ravel, on all the streaming platforms. Beautiful, beautiful album. A little bit of big band, Motown influences,
Ooh.
rock and roll, a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
you can figure out how to spell it, Giovanni Ravel, you know, there's a little surprise there for you.
Giovanny
There you go.
Revelle.
There you
Boom.
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
No excuses, guys. Go check out his stuff. Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you guys here
Thank
today.
you.
I enjoyed the music. I'm sure everybody watching at home enjoyed it as well. You have a great story to tell. Yeah, you inspire a lot of people, myself included, to represent more to more represent the Hispanic community. I'm sure you inspire a lot of female artists as well, and we need more of that. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you to anybody that's listening. But thank you for the opportunity.
Do you have any last words, any messages for your followers?
Just be like a good person, and also donate to our short film fundraiser, I Just Need a Moment to Breathe, show this Friday, May 15th.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. And for anybody watching at home, that was the Hawkwinds Radio Picture Show. Check us out on most platforms. I think we're on most platforms. I'm your host, Jay Smooth.